Hello, everyone. My name is Gregory, and this is The View from Out Here. Today, I want to talk about good versus evil. Now, most of us are taught that things like anger, hatred, violence, dishonesty, terrorism, racism, homophobia, stuff like that, are bad, and we should avoid them in favor of things like love and kindness, helpfulness, leadership, generosity. I disagree that we should be compartmentalizing ourselves and pushing certain compartments away from us as if they're not part of who we actually are. Most of us are trained to think of good and evil like Geraldine, the Flip Wilson character from the 70s. She was hysterically funny, but kind of deep too. One of her taglines was, "The devil made me do it." But reality dictates that a person cannot manifest something that does not exist in them to begin with. I think this devil made me do it perception is a grave mistake that all religions make, and it causes tremendous internal conflict in the hearts and minds of well intentioned people. Goodness is in us, and evil is from someone or something outside of us. Now, that idea is just not supported by reality. In reality, most of the wars that go on inside us are caused by this misconception. Exactly who is this evil puppet master that is able to manifest thoughts and actions from outside of us that do not otherwise exist in us? Please show me some evidence that such a puppet master actually exists. Human beings contain both good and evil simultaneously and express both at different times as a natural response to what we experience. But it does not come from somewhere else. It's already there. My evidence is this: we cannot manifest something that does not already exist in us. Therefore, if anger, hatred, violence, etc., can be manifested in us, then the seeds of it, the capacity for it, must exist there to begin with. Otherwise, it could not be elicited from us. Since anger and hatred, etc., are common to all people in all cultures, the capacity for it is part of the whole human condition. Why then should we not develop a philosophy that loves and honors all of what is natural in us in a useful way, rather than trying to push selected energies away as if they're not part of who we really are? This comes from a personal epiphany of accepting that I'm a nasty old cuss in the minds and hearts of some people in the world, and there's nothing wrong with their perception of me. In their experience of reality, I am exactly what they imagine I am. They are responding naturally to the only thing I've shown them of myself, the only thing that I have manifested in their presence. There is equally nothing wrong with my perception for getting angry or feeling hatred towards someone who acted in a manner that was an affront to my reality. I am justified in expressing my honest response to what I experience. Once I fully accepted that I'm kind of a bad guy too, my life grew a sense of balance and peace that I didn't imagine could exist for me before. I'm a recovering Catholic altar boy, if that helps you understand where I was. Perfection is a big thing to us. In me, there is good and evil, and to compartmentalize my whole self into pieces and accept some of them and reject others seems counterproductive to me. It tends to create a war within me that could never end because, in reality, I contain both good and evil. If I do not make peace between them by my love and respect for both, the war will just continue until I finally do. I have always believed in nonviolence. It's part of the reason I resonate so well with people like Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King Jr. I have experienced enough violence in my life that I used to be able to nail down that violence is always a bad thing. But wait, what about people like Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, or Vladimir Putin? Are there times and places and circumstances under which hatred and violence become a good thing? I see myself as a good, friendly, and even helpful person. I love and respect that part of myself. Sure, that's an easy one. Anybody can do that. Yet there are times when I'm just an unholy terror. I also love and sometimes I'm even proud of that part of the evil in me. The evil part of me is like a warrior against unfair treatment of myself and more often a group of people, even if I'm not associated with them personally. That is the axe that the evil in me swings with relish and a side of fries, and I'll do it again without losing a minute's sleep over it. Just watch me. I can't stand for unfair treatment of anyone, including myself, and I will go off in a New York minute about it. Such treatment is an affront to my reality, and I have reason to express my response to it. I encourage personal development of a philosophy that integrates the reality that we are both good and evil into a useful expression of both that creates a minimum amount of damage without encouraging that we separate ourselves into parts of who we actually are as a whole human being. These personality traits that we are trained to dishonor and push away have their constructive uses, and they are every bit as legitimate and, yes, honorable as those traits we judge to be desirable. It just seems more intellectually honest to me to love and grok that we are not all good, nor are we all evil. We exist in a duality, and like it or not, we're part of that duality. Religions teach that without God, there is no reason to do good works, and societies would descend into a dog eat dog survival of the fittest kind of thing. First of all, oops, too late. That ship has already sailed. Let's move on. I disagree with that view. There are natural laws at work that can be proven that are not dependent on the presence or absence of God or religion. Not that I would ever suggest that anyone follow the example set by President George H.W. Bush, that's the senior, W's dad. But he did prove the existence of karmic law. He used to play this little game where, in public, where he would count the number of people he could elicit a smile from by smiling at them. He demonstrated with this little game that what he manifested in front of them had an impact on them that was reflected back to him. That's karma. It seems like a silly game, but it proves karmic law. If you do good, the likelihood is that you will encourage similar behavior that creates a world that is gooder than it would be if you didn't. Doing good, therefore, has rewards that have nothing to do with heaven or hell. Conversely, Charles Manson decided to do evil and thereby manifested an evil world to live in and created distress for District Attorney Bugliosi and Squeaky Fromm and those other girls, as well as innocent bystanders that watched the drama unfold on those crime shows, not to mention the people that they murdered, for crying out loud. That world does not respect or love him in any way as a direct result of what he manifested. This is additional proof of the existence of karmic law. Had Charles Manson not manifested these terrible things, he very well might be busy being loved and respected right now. Karmic law holds that what you manifest into the world around you becomes the world that you live in. It is reflected back to you, and much like a mirror. There is an altruistic and at the same time selfish reason to do good works, and both are built into the act of doing good. It creates a kinder, more gentle world for you to live in, selfish, and it creates a kinder, more gentle world for any individual your manifestation impacts, altruistic. Even further, it is most often observed by others not directly impacted, but it is witnessed nonetheless. It then becomes an example of good for them to evaluate in themselves. Marianne Williamson, a television producer and perennial presidential candidate, created A Course in Miracles. In that course, she proposes this. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people don't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. My argument here is that contrary to any religious pronouncements, karmic law is a legitimate motivation to do good works that has nothing to do with the existence or absence of God, and it can be proven. Whereas God, heaven, or hell being the sole reason for doing good works, is that bad things and that bad things will happen without them cannot be proven. To wrap this up, I'd like to encourage you to begin to recognize, honor, and love the evil as well as the good in you, and think of ways that both can be integrated into a life that honors who you are as a whole person and manifest those parts of you that you consider to be evil can be used for good as well. Do that, and the war within you between good and evil can someday result in peace. I want to thank you for hanging with me so far. And if you find anything of value here, please take a second to like and subscribe with the buttons below. Oh, and don't forget my books, Basic Video Production, Everything You Need to Know to Make Video Like a Professional, and Searching for Saint Germain, The True Story of a Gay Catholic Orphan. And if you have Kindle Plus, you can read them both for free. Meanwhile, my name is Gregory, and this has been The View from Out Here. Much love.